It was a crazy day, just mostly because of the hectic nature that I had to do. I uploaded the reaction today, but I filmed it yesterday. You know what I mean? When it came out, the episode. It was like the hectic nature of everything, and really not like fully well. um, I'm thinking about maybe because in the overall what I ended up doing is kind of like lowering the volume so much that you can't hear it at that point. Basically, it's not actually muted, I think, but it was just so unbelievably low that you can't hear the audio of the episode, uh, which is definitely like a way not to get around it. But what I wanted to see if I could try to do is to add a pitch modifier to OBS so you guys could hear can still hear the audio. It would just be a different pitch, kind of like what Dr. Bonehead's doing with his episode reactions. I kind of want to do something similar to that, um, but I would have to figure out how that fully works. Uh, and I've been really busy with everything else going on, so I haven't had the chance to really do that. But yeah, overall, I mean, I'm when I at least with the one that I had uploaded today, it gave me when I did like the checks and whatever. I know it can change later, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be fine. When it gave me like the YouTube checks or for the copyright stuff, it didn't give me anything. Um, so I was like, it's probably gonna be fine. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to my own for myself right now. How I sound. And that's the thing is that I think I'm gonna put it up a bit, the audio, even though I think I'm using my bad head, right now I'm using the bad headset, um, like the lower one. So I'm just gonna put it up a little bit more, and I'm going to. I think that should be fine. I'm gonna put that a little bit up and the music a little bit down. But overall, that should be fine. I don't think it should up and change that much. Either way. Um, yeah, I don't really have much to talk about in this opening. Normally, I have like something. Um, the only other thing I can talk about before we actually start is that I'm the video the all the Tower God powers explained video will be, like I said in the community post, it will probably be delayed, most likely by a day, which I originally thought is gonna be uploaded on Tuesday/Wednesday, one of those 2 days originally. So it might still be uploaded on Wednesday at night or like later during the day, um, if I'm able to finish it. But most likely it's gonna be on Thursday. So yeah, I think that's basically it for the things that I needed to say. Really, um, yeah, that's basically it. I'm gonna I'm gonna start this. Uh, we're gonna start with this one. I heard from my friends that it was a shorter chapter this week. So, I mean, hopefully we have a lot. Hopefully there's stuff to talk about in the chapter. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm not against shorter chapters. Um, less time for me to be sitting down, and also just kidding. But also, yeah, I mean, SIU, I don't with all the stuff that he goes through and all the blog posts and other crap he's talked about with his health and all that stuff. Even though he has assistants now, like, and he's had them for a while, but you know what I mean. Um, Even though he has assistants, it's still like I still would rather him do shorter chapters and still give out content than just than than him leaving on like a hiatus again because of his health and all that stuff. So overall, I think it's fine. But yeah, we're gonna start right. We're gonna start right now. Everything's working well. I think so. I think everything's working well. Okay. Ah, goodness. I saw the but going back to the anime topic again. Whoever saw it, my reaction to it knows what I thought about the episode. I thought it was good. Just the animation was off compared to the first one, at least. But I overall didn't mind it that much because it was more like it's like important moments, but at the same time, it's not like I'd rather have better animation for later scenes. If I were to trade, if somebody were to give me the option to have like good animation for this moments or have good animations for later moments that are gonna happen, I'd rather later moments because I know those moments probably are hopefully gonna get the love they deserve. But yeah. I think I have everything pulled up already. Yeah, I do. Okay, cool. Well, let's start this. Let's just begin today's reaction. I didn't actually pull it up on the on OBS. There we go. We got it pulled up on OBS, guys. I have the chat right next to me too. So if you guys does anybody want to say anything while I'm reading the chapter, go for it. Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry, I was checking something, but because for some reason, my video on my live stream on my phone and at my side like paused like very weirdly, even though it wasn't paused in OBS. But hopefully that was just on my end and not your guys' end. But yeah, let's start this. Well, we start off with a warning containing a violence warning. And like I say every single time I see one of these, it could mean nothing or it could mean everything. And considering what we had last chapter, it could mean a lot actually. Last chapter, I didn't really do a recap, but last chapter, basically, it's an amazing chapter, amazing dialogue chapter. The highlight and one of my favorite Tower God moments now is the Yurong and Amizu moment. And there was I was just thinking about it. I was I think it was Baylord Zoo, a new Tower God or somebody who wants to make Tower God content, and he has made art one already, but he's working on a big project or something. Very excited for that. He's and he's a subscriber of my channel, but he made a video about complaining about last chapter, about specifically complaining about the Amizu not realizing that Lustlike was Enkidu part, which well, obviously in the comments I said fair enough, like everyone can have, don't worry about like nitpicking a story you like because you still love the story. It's just that you have issues with it. I have issues with the story too. The one that I always bring up whenever I have talk about those types of issues is like the Arya revive thing. Mostly because I am like the type of I'm the type of reader that, like, when something happens and I fully don't agree with it, I wait until I think, because I'm always giving SIU the benefit of the doubt, because I think he's a great author. So I'm always like, okay, I'm not gonna overreact right now. I'm going and say this is garbage or something. I'm going to wait until like 3 or so chapters, until it's fully, like, hopefully explained. And if it's not explained or something doesn't happen, then I'm just like, yeah, I don't think it's good. Then, because then I gave it time to brew, and gave him time to, like, go through all this stuff, and then there was still nothing. So I can say, when I can still love an author and say when I don't think they did a good job. That's fine. It's criticism. Every story, and every art form has criticism, and it shouldn't be like, unless you're being, like, completely rude about it. I don't think it should be a thing of like, people say, oh, don't read the story anymore, because obviously they like the story. They got all the way to, like, chapter 600 or whatever. They clearly like it. So it's just criticism, and some of the times valid criticism. But yeah, he had a problem with her not realizing, because Enkidu's acting is horrible and all that stuff. And I agreed, somewhat, but like I just said right now, I waited for this chapter, and probably for the next chapter, I don't know, to see what stuff happens next. If it leads to something good, and if it leads to something whatever, and then it's like a minor moment that at the same time could be explained away by Amizu just not seeing Leslie for a long time. And I don't even think Amizu knows that Enkidu has the ability to transform into other people. She didn't even know that much about Enkidu to begin with, right? So why would she know that Enkidu can just transform into other people? Like, even though he was doing it to other people in the castle, like, doesn't mean that she knew about that power. And like, stuff like that. And it didn't bother me that much. I thought it was weirdly written, like the dialogue of it. So I do agree with the dialogue was a little weird. And that might have just been a translation thing. Who knows? But yeah, I want to see what happens this chapter, because if whatever happens this chapter probably determines what my thoughts on that is, because I didn't really think about it until his video. And then I was like, you know what, I also don't kind of like that a lot, right? Like, because depending on what happens, it could make the story feel a little forced, because it could lead to a big event, but if stuff like that. But at the same time, I don't know, it's weird. It can be explained away, but at the same time, I understand where he's coming from. So yeah. Without further ado, because that was like a big rant, let's actually start this. Yeah, we got a violence warning. We got the crane shot. Is this going to be like a recap of what happened last time? Yeah. Also, massive crane, by the way. Like, Jesus. We normally don't see animal Shinwei. I mean, that's not true. I was about to say we don't see Shinwei this big. I meant like anima controlled Shinwei, like that I can remember. Outside, like this big, outside of like the branch heads, and Traumarai, of course. Traumarai is just like massive animals, but outside of the family heads, like, I mean, the family heads, the branch leaders and all that stuff, and I guess maybe like Ren to an extent. Yeah, Ren had like big leeches and animals and other stuff like that. But the thing about his Shinwei is that they were controlled Shinwei, like, by his leeches, so they weren't. I mean, they were his because he controlled them, but at the same time, it's like different. It's different from like this Shinwei. This probably like friends of Amizu or something. That's what I mean. But I don't know. Just a weird thought that I just had. But we don't really see big Shinwei like this unless it's like controlled by a branch leader or something. We got Traumarai. He says, Amizu, where are you going? Okay. Season 3, Traumarai's past. 5. It's crazy we're already in 5. It feels like not that long ago since we started this flashback. But yeah, it's really crazy that we're already in like the 5th one of this flashback. I don't remember how many chapters was even Huang Wan and Nan's flashback. Could have, was it 5 also? It was like 5 or 6 or something like that. I can't remember fully off the top of my head, but I don't even remember if it was 5. Maybe it was 5 or 4 or something like that. I don't know. My memory's not good with numbers or with names. My memory's not that good in general, I guess. Whoosh. Started flying through the air. I was about to say it in that panel, but like, better, good thing I waited, because we got to see a clearer shot. Did you really station a warp fleet there? Yeah, just trust me. I was what I was gonna say in this panel, but good thing I saved it here. We get a better shot at Lustlike. I do like Lustlike's past the sign. There's a way clearer shot of like the dreads, but it's like a mixture of dread and like flowing hair. Like he still have the bang that he still has in modern day, and like super long ponytails. Was that be considered a pony? Like side tails? I don't know hair terminology, but you know what I mean. It's like the side pieces of his hair that are really flowing, and then the rest of his hair is dreads. I like it. It's not what I would expect he would look like. That was the only place around here where I could hide it. I parked a warp ship on that floating island. I like a lot of things about Tower God that I find very interesting. And one thing that I always find interesting is the suspendium, and how cool a concept it just is, because I also like lighthouses, and lighthouses are just made of suspendium. It's so basic. It's just like a rock that makes things float. But I don't know, it's just I don't know, I just like the concept of using a material to make things float, and not just being like, oh yeah, everything can float because it can float. You know what I mean? It has like a material tied to it, so I like that aspect of it. I see. Over there. Does she know this floating island? Because she's a lot of dots. There's a lot of like dragging of dialogue, but let's see. Yeah, it's like this shot is better, like, to emphasize what I meant. It's like, just because you have suspendium in like everything and like pockets and stuff like that, but that's like tiny stuff. But like, I like the concept that you can have massive suspendium like crystals on like an entire island, and the island just floating in the air. I just think that's really cool, and that's also why I think like the floating castles and floating ships and all that stuff is really cool. You're like flying through the air on a ship. Young Lustlike, yeah. Young Lustlike. I really like his design. Really like his design. But let's yeah, that's the island. The crane falls. The wing. I didn't. The wings. I don't know how big a crane's wings are. I know some birds' wings are like massive compared to their bodies, but this crane's wings are ginormous, man. But yeah. Okay, hop down. This way. Man, Enkidu, you better stop stuttering. At some point she's gonna notice, because I feel like she's already like noticing what's up. And that's the thing, is that I also do hope that at some point she notices. Like, I get that she didn't notice when they first met. Like, that could be explained away out, but if you keep acting like this, like, I know that he's supposed, that less, like, when he was younger, supposed to be reckless and all that kind of stuff. But, and like, a troublemaker. But this just seems unnatural. So at some point she'll probably notice, I feel like, that this is not less like. Even though she might not know it's Enkidu, she'd be like, something's up. Also, this is an ominous shot of this temple. Creak, clack, clack. I remember this floating island. Oh, she was looking like that because she remembered the place, and that's why she was also like, that's why she was speaking that way when she saw it. Okay. This is where I first settled down and began living with Tromrai. Really? So this is like their first home, in a way? Maybe she didn't notice because the first time meeting him, they were most likely communicating through the window and letters of sort. Yes, but they climbed the tower together. That's what I mean. This is not the first time she's meeting Luslek. They were both companions of. You could make the argument that they weren't close, but I would, at the same time, it would feel weird for people to be companions climbing the tower, and you guys not to know each other. Like, well, even especially if you're in the same group. That's the thing, is that I don't believe that they haven't seen each other in a long time. Like, ever since like the split between the family heads, right? And Via and Arlen. But they so I understand why they would probably be a little like right now. But they climbed the tower together, so I would assume that they've talked, and she knew that he was a troublemaker and all that kind of stuff. So, like, I don't know. I feel like it's a valid criticism. At the same time, I just hope that it's not for nothing, or even if it's not for nothing, it's just like the rest of the flashback after the point of that happening makes up for it. You know what I mean? Which I think it will. This flashback's amazing, so I don't think that's too much to ask of the flashback for it to be better than that moment. And it's already been better before than that moment. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be fine. But it's a valid criticism, I think, that people had of that scene. I remember. Oh, yeah, I already read this. I went back. I forgot. Yeah, she's clenching her fist. Who's this? Somebody else? Because it's not Luslex. He looks like. I'm gonna save my. I'm probably gonna see it next panel, but I think I know who those shoes are. But I don't want to say it because if I'm wrong, I'm gonna look dumb. I was right, and I looked even dumber for not saying it. I remember pointing out a few chapters ago Tromrai's like elf shoes, like that he has, like the pointy jester shoes that he wears. I had it in my head too, and I just did not say it. Well, whatever, doesn't matter. So it is Tromrai. Wow, I did not expect. I actually didn't expect Tromrai to show up right now. I thought what was gonna happen was that I honestly fully believed that they were gonna leave with Enkidu, and Enkidu was gonna infiltrate V and Arlene's like hideout or whatever, and then that's when something big happens between them. I feel like this is gonna be a lot more personal though. Like, yeah. He does have green hair to match an elf. Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah. I just now I'm like in the blog post, not trauma, right? SIU draws like certain characters for certain like events or stuff like that. It'd be pretty funny if he drew Trauma during Christmas time with like an elf outfit on. I think that would be pretty funny. Obviously, he doesn't do the blog post anymore, but if he did, you know what I mean. Um, but yeah, Trauma. I love Traumarai's design. Like, it's so simplistic, especially compared to his new design, like his modern design. But I just I like how you can clearly tell that he's so different, but at the same time, like, he's the same person at the same time. It's really good. I love the long green hair. I love the outfit, the robes. I don't know, I just like the design a lot. Obviously the shoes completes the look. I should have known. So you had me brought here. Yeah. So this is yeah. I did not think this would be Traumarai's plan, like to confront her this fast. I really did think that he was gonna wait until later with NK to being like a spy or something. But I mean, I'm not opposed to this. I feel like this makes me more unsure of what's gonna happen, because if I honestly, well, I was gonna be unsure anyway when if the spy thing that I thought was gonna come, but because like he's right in front of her, there's a lot of possibilities this could go down. Like, I don't think it's gonna be a fight per se. It's probably gonna be a conversation, and maybe he tries to do something to control her or like take her back to the house forcefully, because that's like what's been kind of been leading up to with his dialogue with the rest of the family heads. How could you think of leaving without even saying goodbye, Amizu? That's the thing that I mentioned last time, because Edwin also brought it up and Han also said the same type of thing. It's so weird seeing the family heads like this, because they're gods. Like that was the whole thing with Jidong last chapter, that they are gods in power but not in mindset yet. And they're hurt. They're more hurt than anything, not of like them being betrayed or like them of her leaving of her own accords. Maybe obviously Traumarai is more connected to Amizu, so he is like hard, like probably hard, like hurt that she betrayed, like that she did betray him, and that she's leaving in general, right? The other family heads seem like they're not against her leaving. Jirang even helped her escape. And Han said the same thing. She's free to do whatever she wants. But they're more sad that she didn't even say goodbye. Like, they're sad that she sneaked out and didn't even say her final goodbye. At least to most of them, except for like Yidong and all that stuff. I knew something wasn't right on the way here. I see what's going on now. Yeah. See, this dialogue box, in my opinion, completely, there you go. It's so easy. It's such an easy fix. And again, that's why I didn't really think that heavily about it when I read the chapter. It was only after I heard people complain about it, then I was like, it was not like of why it happened. It was more that the dialogue was clunky. You know what I mean? So that's why this piece of dialogue, I knew something wasn't right on the way here. Boom, she didn't need to know right away, but on the way there, she was like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm being suspicious now. So like, there you go. She is suspicious of him. So boom, that line of dialogue fixes everything from last chapter, in my opinion. How easy something can change just because of one piece of dialogue, right? Um, it was mostly the dialogue that was just clunky in that part, but overall, it wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah, that's Enkidu. Yeah, that's yeah. I was gonna say that. Like, what's it called? It's Enkidu is such a interesting part on this like puzzle because we know of him in current day. We know that he killed someone. We have yet to know who who he kills. If it the thing about it being Amizu that he kills is that I think that might mess up some things later on, or if it doesn't mess up anything, then I feel more interested of what's gonna happen, because we know that he kills someone. We know that because of that decision that he kills somebody, Traumarai is miserable, quote unquote, right? And he erases his memories of the event because of that. And so did Gusting, apparently, because this is Gusting's, like, this is what the reason we're in this flashback is because Gusting got his memories back of that night of who he killed and all that stuff. So this affected not only Traumarai, this affected a lot of the family heads, and who other could affect them than somebody like Amizu, in my opinion. But at the same time, I don't know if it causes problems per se, but it causes more questions to be asked then, that not just, so I don't know. And obviously we've been getting a lot of monologues of Enkidu and his opinions on not only the family heads but of Amizu, and how he doesn't respect her, of how he's getting more pissed off at her because of her actions and because of his loyalty to Traumarai. I don't know. Why did you leave without telling me? Come on, let's go back together. Traumarai. So obviously she's gonna reject him. Let's go home. Traumarai, Amizu, I understand your desire to leave home and venture out into the world. But we already finished climbing the tower that day. Like, that's the thing. It's such a it's not only because they're different now. I feel like it's not only because Traumarai and the rest of the family heads are still not fully gods in their own heads, right? Even Traumarai, like, in a few chapters ago, had to, like, tell himself that he is a ruler of the tower now. He had to affirm that for himself. Even though he knows that he's stronger than everyone, doesn't mean that he thinks of himself as a god yet, and as a ruler yet. What I like about this piece of dialogue, I understand your desire to leave home, right? He understands her desire. He can understand that aspect of it. But the thing about it is that, how do I say it? It's more like it's not only that they're less gods, it's also that Amizu is part of Traumarai's Traumarai's closest companions, like, so, like, that he climbed the towers with. And obviously Amizu, on top of being one of those companions, is his lover, right? So I feel like that's the thing about it. It's just so every single time we get a piece of dialogue from the family heads in this flashback that say something more human, like, I understand, or she's free to do what she wants, or something like that, from Hone, last chapter, I like it even more, this flashback, because we're seeing how they're different. That's what I really like about it. If Amizu dies, it's gonna be a sad short life of a good character. That's the thing. But the thing is that she's a flashback character. This is a flashback. This is not current day. We have never seen Amizu in current day. So I do, no matter what no matter who kills her, I think she dies. I think she dies, no matter who. Like, no matter if Enkidu kills her, Amizu's going to die, probably in this flashback. I don't know if it's by Traumarai. I don't know if it's by someone else. I don't know if it's by whoever. It's most likely Enkidu. But at the same time, that causes a lot of problems. Yeah, but Amizu's a great character. Amizu's a really, really good character, and I've grown to like her a lot throughout these chapters. I've liked her ever since her first conversation with Traumarai that they had, even though that was filled with apparently a lot of mistranslations, or not mistranslations, more like they translated it to be more rude. Her dialogue towards Enkidu and stuff like that, and to Traumarai. But again, I didn't feel like it was that mean-spirited what she said. I don't know. I just didn't have a problem with it. But after every single other appearance and every single, I mean, like I said, like the Yurong and Amizu talk and scene was one of my favorite scenes of All Entire God now, because it was great. It was amazing. So I don't think Amizu survives anyway, no matter what, right? But because she's a flashback character and we've never seen her even get mentioned in current day. But that doesn't take away from her character and stuff like that. It's kind of like other characters in other series that I like, that people are like, oh, they died too fast, the character got wasted and stuff like that. A character has purpose. Characters have purposes. At the end of the day, they're not actual humans beings. Like, and even those real people, their lives get wasted. Like, it's sad to say, but yeah, some people, like, they pass away too soon, something happens, or something is cut short, or their dreams are cut short. Like that happens to people. And also, so it's weird that wouldn't happen to a character in a story that's not even real. And at the same time, every character is supposed to serve a purpose. If the way a character is wasted, in my opinion, is if they don't serve that purpose. If they do serve that purpose, then a perfect example is that I'm actually a fan of My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia, there's a character that a lot of people say is wasted, a female character, a character called Star and Stripes. She's people say she got wasted because she basically only had one fight and then she died to that one fight. I feel like her role in the story was basically was double fold, because if her role was just like a lot of the fans said, that she was just there to weaken Shigaraki, the main villain, then that would have been weird, and that she would have just been there as a plot device, and that's it. But the thing is that she got her own characterization. She got a lot of stuff about that around just her being a plot device, which that's what you do. Even if a character is a plot device, you give them a character. You give them a good sense of like stuff like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just I don't because we got that aspect of them, and because they're not really like that, I feel like that much of plot devices. It's more like her plot device was more to show the, like, how willing somebody is to go, even if they know they're gonna die. Like, how far somebody's willing to take a final blow. And even if that was the case, that like she weakened Shigaraki, she didn't even weaken him, to be honest, like fully. If that was her purpose, she really didn't even do that much, because Shigaraki's still like insanely powerful in the story, and I doubt that he would have changed that much in power if she did do the thing. They just gave them more time. That's the thing, is that they gave them more time to prepare. That's the thing, her purpose. They gave the other heroes more time to prepare. They gave a reason for why the rest of the world isn't isn't helping them. So actually that's the worst thing, because the rest of the world isn't going to help in the battle in between the final villain. Um, because she was the number one hero of like America, one of the most powerful heroes. So if she died, no one else has a chance. So everyone like defended their own country and stuff like that. It had ripples, not just of that aspect. And I know I got into this rant. I'm sorry, I really am, and I know this is Tower of God, not My Hero Academia, but it counts to like characters that people say are wasted. And if she dies in this flashback, and if she's still a good character and like still has good moments and still has good impact on the story, even all the way to current day, because we're seeing those events and these what's happening because of Wong and then and a bunch of other stuff with Traumarized personality. In current day, right? I don't think it's gonna be that. I don't think it's gonna be that bad. Even if she dies, I don't think what I really hope is that if she dies, people don't say she's wasted as a character, because she's really not. She has an amazing character. She has amazing scenes. She's just the flashback character that served her purpose, that would have served her purpose, I feel like, and then still serves her purpose all the way up to current point of the story, because we're still focusing on the characters that she has affected. But yeah, that's just like a mini rant. Sorry about that. Let's keep reading. I have to like reread what he said. I'm just gonna do it in my head. But we already finished climbing the tower. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That wasn't my decision. I never agreed to that. Don't be silly. The gate is already closed. This is the... Other than the time Rachel and Whatnot had that talk in the Hell Train, this is the first time we've heard of the 135th floor. Like, actually. Not just people like, oh, we stopped climbing the tower. This is the first time they're acknowledging that the gate, quote unquote, the gate is closed. So yeah, but like she said, it wasn't my decision to stop climbing. I never agreed to that. So we don't know if it was only Jihad's decision to stop. We don't know that. We haven't seen that flashback. But it's of them stopping climbing. That's out of all the climb flashbacks that they could have, that's the one that I'm most interested in. The day they stopped climbing and what actually happened that day. But yeah, the gate is already closed. No, it's not over yet. We're going to open the gate once more. Okay, so so we know that the gate to the 135th floor is closed already. But the thing is that, is it closed? The question that I have, because is it closed, and did Jihad already make the rings of Jihad? And did he already break the key up to different like the 13-month series and the rings of Jihad? Because that's what happened, is that there's the key of the tower, the key to the 135th floor, and then that key by Etwaru, Ashul Etwaru. I can't say his name right now, but yeah, the blacksmith that made the 13 months. He made the key into the 13 months, and then also that's half of the key, the 13 months weapons, and then the other half, it was the rings of Jihad. And then that's like the whole thing of like, when they come together, when all 13 months and the rings of Jihad come together, we will be able to climb the tower again. But the thing about that is that I don't even know if that's a thing yet. Like, maybe Jihad just has the real key, and he hasn't split it up right now. That would be very interesting if it was just the actual key of the of the 135th floor, and it wasn't split yet. Because I don't think it would make sense for it to be split yet. But now I like that we're getting a more concrete goal, because I think it was obvious that this was the goal. But I like how we have a more concrete goal of V and Arlene's factions, or like the Grace faction of what it's been called or something. They're not just like going after Jihad and going after the 13 families. They're clearly going. Their goal is not for war. Their goal is to keep climbing the tower, and keep adventuring. So I like how that differentiates them from all the other groups that we've seen, like Revolution, like Bug, like Wakai-san. Wakai-san's kind of similar. They want to leave the tower. The V's group, V and Arlene's group, wants to keep adventuring up the tower and want to keep going up the tower. They don't even know if they can leave the tower yet. But Wakai-san's goal is specifically to get out of the tower, so that's a little bit different. Are you saying you wish to betray Jihad and us? No, that can't be. You remembered what we suffered that day, don't you? That's the thing about it. It's that this flashback is just making me so much more excited, because I know if SAE doesn't have a flashback, which he 100% has to have a flashback of the day they stopped climbing. Because if he doesn't, that's going to be like the biggest fumble of the entire story, in my opinion. Like, that's such a big event, and that ties with so many other things in the story. In this flashback, every single time they mention that day, we don't know that day yet. Like, these characters know that day. It's like a situation where the characters know more about the things going on than the audience, and that happens so much in Tire God. Like Bomb, like Haku mentioned this a lot. Bomb has so much information. He has information about his mom, about his, like the Cha gave to him and all that stuff. A bunch of other information that information that Leviathan gave him about Traumarai. Bomb knows so much more than the audience actually does, and that we know that Bomb knows. So it's so really weird to think about that. But yeah, Bomb also absorbed the book, so he maybe even saw some of these memories. I don't know. Probably not that many, but he probably saw some. So the thing is that you remember what we suffered that day. What did they suffer? Like, what happened? Like, other than getting betrayed by Arlene and V, what happened? Okay, maybe he's giving us a little bit more clarification. The people who worshipped us like gods while we climbed the tower, suddenly turned against us once they found out that we closed the gate. They bombarded us with curses and committed the most beastly atrocities. That's an interesting way of saying that. So the followers that climbed, that were probably part of the group, but more like in the background, maybe. Like, they're not like Marcia, where he'd probably be more like a direct like partner with V and stuff like that, and Arlene. There probably was a lot of people that climbed with them that were just followers of them and helped them up the tower. They weren't like the most powerful people, but they were like worship them like gods or whatever, and help them climb to keep going on this adventure. And then Jihad just decides to close the tower and not go up anymore and just become the king. And everyone was like, got angry at that, basically. This line, the bombarded us with curses, that's whatever. That's like a nothing kind of line, because that just means that they turned on us and they ridiculed us and all that stuff after worshiping us. Um, this one, and they committed the most beastly atrocities. What did they do? What could it? What could they have done to trauma, to the family heads, that they're way stronger than everyone else? What could they have done? I'm guessing they could have done things to other people in the group or something. Like, they could have turned on each other and did things. But, like, what could they have done directly to... What atrocities could they have committed? That's a thing. That's very interesting. What in the world did we do to deserve that? If it weren't for us, those losers would have never climbed anywhere in the tower, let alone reaching the top. Are you really going to open the gate and begin climbing the tower again like they want? That's a powerful emotion line from Tramrai. I keep saying, like, all the family heads are getting more emotional lines, like him saying, "I understand your desire," or whatever. But he still says it like with a face of, like, apathy and all that stuff, because at this point he still got rid of some of his emotions, so he is different, and that's the whole reason that Amizu is leaving, or one of them at least. He still says it with like a face of like apathy, because he already got rid of some of his emotions apparently. But this dialogue, even if we don't see his face, but like, I mean, just reading it, I could feel the venomous like hatred that he has for these people. Like he calls them, those losers would have never even climbed anywhere in the tower without us. Like, whatever they did, like, it was crazy, and I don't know. I really want to see that flashback. This just gets me more and more hyped for that. Yeah, I just like that dialogue a lot. That's right. I don't forgive them for what they did. And ultimately I belong with them. We share the same goal. I hate to admit it, but it's true. So yeah, so she's agreeing with Tramarai. And I think that she's agreed with Jirang and all that stuff. Like I've talked in the last chapter about, like, she said to Jirang and to, like, I think 2 times already this flashback, that she doesn't criticize the family heads for doing what they did and for making the decision they did, which I found very interesting. And this just kind of contextualizes that even more, like, that the people that follow them did things, horrible things, and she didn't agree with that, so she doesn't forgive them, but she realizes that the family heads have changed, and they're not the people that she used to love anymore. But even if she doesn't like the other people, they share her goal, right? So that's very interesting. That's why I agreed to join you all. That's why I first agreed to join you all. Yeah, that's what I just said, that I couldn't bring myself to forgive them. But with time, I became less certain of my decision, and I realized this isn't right. I'm loving this scene so far. Just, again, not because we're getting a lot of lore drops. Like, this is a lore drop, but at the same time, it's not really. Like, we don't have any context to what's actually happened. We don't know what the atrocities are. We don't know anything. It's more like how they're talking to each other so openly. Like, she's saying, I don't forgive them for what they did at all, and that's why I even joined you. But like, I know that they still have the same goal as I do. Just because you don't like them, that doesn't give you the right to close the tower's gate on them. I need to know why our generation isn't allowed to reach the top of the tower. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that all she's saying makes absolute sense. Like, if this, it wasn't a decision made by everyone. It wasn't like Jihad didn't do a presidential vote saying like, hey guys, we're gonna do a vote. Whoever gets, we keep climbing or we don't keep climbing. Jihad just, he became a king. He made the decision probably by himself. We don't know that for sure, but maybe by himself, to close the tower and become the king of it, without it, most likely without all the other people's opinion. And then he just, yeah, it's no wonder no wonder why Amizu isn't like content with that. Why she didn't choose that. I can't go on living anymore without knowing the truth. I love this panel of Amizu. Like, I do like it a lot. All the close-up shots we've gotten on Amizu are really good. And we got in a lot this flashback of her, like this frontal shot profile view of her. I like this one a lot. I don't know if this one's my favorite, but I like it a lot. Because I climbed the tower with you, and I have a right to know. I don't mean to sound like I'm criticizing you, Trumai. See, that's exactly what I just said. She said this exact words to Judong. I don't mean to sound like I'm criticizing you. Like, she doesn't criticize the family heads for what they did at all. Like, she gets it, which is why I want to know what happened, because if she gets it, I want to get it too. I want to know after. And that's the thing, is that this is all her dialogue is kind of building up to that flashback of them stop climbing. And I trust SIU to deliver on it, and I really hope that he does deliver on it, because if I want to walk away from that flashback and understand why Amizu is saying that she doesn't criticize the family heads. I want to walk away from that flashback being like torn, like kind of like how I was when I watched like something like Captain America Civil War for the first time. Like because you know, like everyone, when that movie came out, it was like Team Iron Man, Team Captain America, who are you on? And I was like, I don't even remember what team I was on, because we just saw like a versus thing. It was like, just, oh, whose team are you on or whatever. But after the movie ended, I remember being like, I don't think anyone was fully correct or wrong or whatever. I just think that it was messed up situation. All right, that's the same feeling I want from that flashback, and I hope that SIU can deliver on that, because I want their choice to stop climbing to seem like the wrong choice, to seem like those choice that's supposed to be wrong, but at the same time, what comes afterwards makes me not want to like fully criticize the family heads for what they did to become the leaders or whatever. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. One day when I catch up with the story, I'll be back. Hey, no problem. Hope you have a wonderful read to the story, and when you do, I hope that my content is one that will shine more light on the story. This is an amazing story, one that I fell in love with super quickly, and I wish you the same amount of joy that I felt when I read it. All I want to say is that I don't agree with you anymore. We're too different now. I can't be with you. I want to see this journey to its end, even if I have to fight you all. I like the hand dropping. of trauma. I don't know if giving up, but more like, I don't know. I really don't know if he's gonna do like, I really don't know if he's gonna force her. That's the thing that I've been thinking about the entire time when she's talking. Is he gonna like just use his chin weight to force her to go back? Goodness. I'm leaving. Trauma. I'm glad this was actually the direction it went. Because I feel like the Yurong and Amazu talk was great, amazing, and I still believe that it's better than this one so far. Right? Just because of like the raw emotion and how it kind of came out of nowhere, and like how it was the first time we saw that, like the breaking down of a family head. But if the thing is that I felt now that I'm seeing this, I'm like, yes, we got the Yurong stuff, and the Yurong stuff, even though it's in the scene it's better. I think so far, even if I think the scene is better, this scene is more necessary. So if somebody were to ask me which scene would I cut out, even if I think, it's crazy to say, even if I think that the Yurong scene is better, I would actually say that this scene is the one that I would say I wouldn't remove, and I would remove the other one. It's crazy to say. I don't fully even believe myself when I say it, because again, I think the other one's better, but I think this one's overall needed to happen more. Yeah. We're getting like a flash. No, well, we're still here, but okay. I'm guessing it went into like the gray thing, so I'm assuming it's like cutting into a flashback. Okay. Am I lonely? Is this Amizu? Well, I don't know. I'm just gonna. Yeah, probably Amizu, because she's saying I want to keep. Okay. Am I lonely? Of course not. You're all I need. I want to keep living here with you. Let's not think about anything scary or complicated anymore. All I want to worry about is how we're going to decorate this pretty home. What to wear tomorrow, and what to eat for each meal. Am I okay, you ask? Of course. I'm happy, Drummer. I love this panel. I like this panel a lot. Another shot of the pointy toes. Just kidding. I know, I like this panel a lot. I really do. I never thought that I would see the day that Traumarai, because when we first got introduced to him, and even in the Wong One flashback, it just seemed like some family heads are evil. Trauma, like, cranked that evil up to 11. Like, Gusting, yes, Gusting's a piece of garbage, like, as a human being and a psychopath and all that stuff. But, like, what's the worst that we've seen him do? Kill people? Like, and all that stuff. In the tower sense, that's nothing, right? The first test we ever saw in the tower was was the calling of like 200 regulars, right? So in comparison to like the tower, that's kind of like nothing, just killing some people and him working with a workshop and all that kind of stuff, and scheming behind the backs and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But like Trauma, we've seen the atrocities that he's committed. We've seen like the files creatures that he's created, the stuff he did to Nen Nen and Wan Wan. I honestly didn't think that we would get someone like Amizu in the story that would have this be part of Traumarai's past, which makes so much more sense now, because it makes more sense. I'm gonna keep it in this panel. It makes more sense of why Traumarai has all those lines about being betrayed by somebody he loves, or being betrayed by people in love, which we always assumed was just be generic V and Arlene, right? They left and they were in love and they betrayed the family heads, all that stuff. The things we already knew, right? Obviously, we didn't know about Amizu at that point, but it just with this, it just makes those scenes make a lot more sense of what he said. So I like it a lot for that. I want to live together like this forever. And that's the thing, is I don't actually think that when she says all these things to Traumrai, I don't think that she was lying, because she clearly loves Traumrai. She's probably still does. Like, that's what she said to Jidong, that's why she didn't say goodbye to him, because if she said goodbye to him, if she saw him one last time, she doesn't know if she can keep doing the decision of leaving. She might hesitate. So she's still, no matter if he changed and that's why she's leaving, or that's a reason again why she's leaving, there's no doubt in my mind that she still loves Traumrai. So I don't know if this is lying. I think this is more like convincing herself. Like again, like she said, she went with him because she completely disagreed with what the other companion did, and she didn't like that. So she kind of like bottled up her own emotions of being like an adventurer, or being like this type of person, so she could be with Traumrai. But the longer she stayed doing that, the more she kept trying to become somebody for Traumrai to be with. She lost her own personality, and she started not becoming a person that she wanted to be anymore. So again, I don't think that I'm happy Traumrai. I don't think that's a lie. I think that's more of her convincing herself that that's the truth. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. But some people probably know what I mean. It's not a lie in the moment. But when you look back on it, it probably is a lie to some extent. Yeah. No, but I love this shot. You said you wanted to live together forever. Remember, Amizu? Wow. That's throwing her words back at her like that. Oh man. I've had a lot of, not to get too real, but I've had a lot of relationship stuff in the past, and I'm in a very, by the way, I'm in a very loving relationship right now, and I'm with somebody that I believe I'm going to be with for the rest of my days, hopefully, right? Because I don't have any desire for that to be not the case. No, that's basically all. I'll go into detail about that, but I've had stuff before that this current day that cut me deep to my core, and seeing this is definitely hitting more personally, because it's a lot. It's kind of a lot like it, where someone's leaving and then you don't know if you want to leave, or you don't know if you're making the right decision, and then you hear what they say, and then it's just so much harder. Every action that the other person takes makes everything so much more harder, because no matter what happens, you still deep down care for that person. So I just think it's being really well written, and it kind of just hit me when I saw this face of Amizu. It really just hit me like a ton of bricks to the face when I saw that face. That's a great expression. Oh man. Oh, damn, she's crying. Okay. That's good. I guess this is what she didn't want. This is why she didn't want to see him again. Because she knew that this might happen. Damn. I'm sorry. Yeah, but like you just keep, no matter what emotions you're feeling, you have to keep firm to what you believe in. That's just not possible anymore. I've changed too much. I can't stand to see you like this any longer. Because I know now. I know what you do in that new house of yours. That's an interesting line. Okay. Let me go into another little rant mode. I've done that a lot this stream, but you know what? It's my stream. we have fun here. So what you do in that new house of yours. This is a very interesting line. I thought I had a theory, or like a suspicion, that Traumarai already created Leviathan and has already been creating creatures. Like, we don't know how he's creating creatures, but like, I would assume like Traumarai has the whole DNA thing going on. The reason I thought he created Leviathan already, or like baby Leviathan or something, I don't know, something like that, like proto Leviathan. Maybe he's not as big and like powerful as he is now, but like I thought he already created Leviathan because of his memories already being stolen, or his memories and emotions already being like somewhat forgotten of the day they stopped climbing. And I really doubt, or it'd be really weird for them to like, because each family head probably has their own method of them getting rid of their emotions and their memories and stuff like that. And Traumarai is Leviathan. And it'd be really weird, in my opinion, if there was multiple creatures or multiple different things for the family heads for different specific memories. I think it makes more sense for them only to have one thing, because that's kind of like, the reason I say that is because the book of Gus thing. If he had different memories, like of the different memories and different events that he wanted to erase from himself, it just seems really weird to me that he would have multiple books or multiple things and not go after those as well. He hates ignorance at this point, so he would want all his memories back. So why wouldn't he, if there were more things holding his memories, why isn't he going after those things? Why is he only caring about one book with one specific set of memories? So that's what I mean. So I don't think the family heads have different storing devices for every single different memory they've gotten rid of. I think that Leviathan is the only storing device of memories that Traumarai has. And so that's why I think he's already created. And that could, this line from Memories, I know what you do in that new house of ours, that could be alluding to something like that. Maybe he's creating creatures, because we know Leviathan is not natural born, he's created by Traumarai. Stuff like that. This line is some of the craziest stuff this week, in my opinion. Which line? Oh, the I know what you do in the new house of ours? Or another one. Also, hi Haku. Didn't even say hi to you. I really liked your reaction to the newest chapter. Not newest chapter. Newest episode. I haven't seen your reaction to the this chapter. I'm gonna see it after this. But yeah. Yeah, but I don't know what line you're specifically talking about. But you'll probably just put it in chat. Yeah. And what Jihad and you want. That's a good thought, since we know that he tells Gusting he's planning to delete his memories. Yes, yes, yes. That's the thing. That's another thing. That's why I also thought about it. Because this flashback goes back to the memory of Enkidu killing someone and then traumatizing he's miserable and I want to delete my memories. At this point, but when we got that flashback, I didn't know that we didn't know as viewers that Traumarai, when we saw that, I actually assumed that that was his first memories that he got rid of. That Enkidu killed somebody and then he got rid of all like memories. That's the first time he did it, and that's when Leviathan was created after that moment. But with the context of this flashback, we know that the family heads already cleared away some of their memories and emotions. So Leviathan is probably already a thing, and that could bring the whole thing into that. The other line is interesting, and what you and Shahad want. Gusting was talking to him in the first chapter of those flashbacks of being like, what are you and Jihad up to? Like, you guys are always talking, and Trauma was like, piss off, you don't need to know. Right, basically. Paraphrasing it. So yeah. But Amizu apparently knows what Trauma and Jihad want. And that's a very interesting, like, what do they want? That's another part of this whole flashback that's a lot more questions than answers. I was personally kind of theorizing, I was personally kind of theorizing it was related to the snake strand, since Trauma had the serpent missile locked up for an incredibly long time, and the snake charmer is related to the princess system. That is true. That is very, wow. Yeah, that's true. And it does make sense with her saying what you and Jihad want, and that bringing the princess system into the whole thing. But, I don't know. I feel like that's just. I get. That's a good theory, but I don't know. I think that's just a little too weak. If it ties back to the princess stuff, maybe yeah. But because it involves Jihad and Jihad wants that and all that stuff. But I think it should be something more grand that she finds out that he's doing. Like, I don't know if because the serpent the strands are just a thing. Trauma is not doing anything. He just locked them up and then they're multiplying. So I think it'll be more impactful if she found he was doing something himself, like he was creating some monstrosities or some stuff like some chimera, like Full Metal Alchemist type of craziness in his because we know that he has a bunch of. I mean, even look at Holland, right? When Holland went crazy, his ancient creatures that he makes from Shinsu are like monstrosities, right? Who's stopping Traumrai, the master of all Shinwei, from doing the exact same type of stuff and creating monstrosities in his basement or something? I don't know. I feel like that's more likely, but I understand why you have that theory because of what you and Jihad want. But it could be two separate things. It could be two separate statements. It could be, I know what you're doing in that new house, which is the Leviathan and the monstrosities theory that I'm having right now, and what you and Jihad want is something completely different from that statement, the previous one, and that's more involving the princesses and maybe other stuff that Jihad may want to talk about with Traumrai. But most theories I've seen elsewhere are connecting this to the red light district, something that Jihad and Traumrai may have been cooking away from the others. That's a great theory too, because I was just talking about it earlier in the chapter, that when we heard about the gate closing, I don't know if the keys. Oh, I just thought about it. I just had a thought. Maybe the whole point, maybe the thing that she knows is that Jihad and Trauma are planning to break the key up. And that connects a lot to the other theories that you talked about just now, and they make the red light district to create the people that will have the jihad rings, the crest of jihad, and separating them and like all that kind of stuff. So what if the key in this current point in time of the 135th floor is not created yet, and what she knows that jihad and trauma are planning is to actually split the key, and she wants to like relay to Arlene Gray's and V, right? So maybe that's very interesting. Like again, like I think that the Traumarai, there's something Traumarai is doing solo in the house, and then something Traumarai and Jihad are doing together. I think that's two separate things. I'm still thinking that what Traumarai is doing in the house is like the Leviathan, the monstrosities, whatever. And what Jihad and Traumarai want is to split up the key. And to do that, obviously the 13 months is a separate matter, but for the rings of Jihad, maybe that's what they're cooking up, the red light district, which would be amazing reveal. But yeah, that's a really good theory, Jahaku. Yeah, let's keep going though, because that was a really good discussion. But yeah, we're almost done with the chapter. I think we should go our separate ways. That's the thing, is that Enkidu's been here the entire time, and I know for a fact that he's super pissed at what's ever happening right now. Like, that's the thing, is that Enkidu's a bystander in this moment. The entire time. When this entire moment, Enkidu's just been like in the background. From everything we've seen of Enkidu, he has some major major anger issues and like some psychopathic thoughts in his head. I feel like this is gonna be the moment. This is gonna be like a moment or something. That it was all just talk, no more than an excuse. Enkidu knew Traumarai hadn't changed. He still loved Amizu, the same as always. Amizu was the one who had changed. Her feelings for Traumarai changed, and now she wanted to run away. Enkidu could feel a rage boiling in him. That's the thing, is that Enkidu, we have to remember Enkidu at the end of the day, no matter how much he is a human, he's a creature. He has probably not been, I don't know how long he's been created for, right? He has stored up memories apparently of like Head-On and other family heads and stuff like that. But like other than that, like he's a beast. And that goes back to the whole Gilgamesh and Enkidu thing. Enkidu is a beast in the forest, not without any like human shape, and then he got civilized. But the difference between this Enkidu and the Enkidu from the legends is that this Enkidu has not been civilized. He's been trained. He's been like taught stuff, but he's not civilized. He's still a beast inside of his mind, and his thoughts are very one-sided. Like I just went through this whole thing and I agreed with everything that Amizu was saying, and I understood what Traumarai said and all that stuff. I understood like the sides of the arguments and whatever. But from Enkidu's perspective, it's very simple. Traumarai, he's seeing that Traumarai still loves Amizu, but what's changed about the situation is that he thinks Amizu doesn't love Traumarai anymore. And now she's just running away. An uncontrollable, unstoppable rage. I'm leaving Traumarai. Take care. Which it was too much for him to bear. Oh God, is this really Does he really do it for Samurai? That adds, okay, I'm gonna keep reading, but that adds a whole layer of messed up to this whole thing. Enkidu. Jesus, his horns are gigantic in the shot, but sorry. I'm so sorry, this is like a serious moment. Enkidu. Look after Samurai for me. Wow. And even if the translation was wrong and Mizu wasn't that mean to Enkidu or whatever, there was I read the translation difference. It's she still was wary of Enkidu. And even then, she knows that Samurai needs somebody. And so she's telling Enkidu to be that person in her stead. Wow. He couldn't contain his rage. He's bringing out his weapon. God. Oh, so yeah, this is the weapon we've seen before, like his cleaver. I like this shot a lot of like his eyes being a white. He looks like I just said before, like some of the shots his face looks completely human. He's such in a rage, he looks like a bull right here. Wow. But does he actually do it, or does Samurai stop it, or what's up? Slash. Okay. Slash any longer. Slash. Splat. Wow. Like the sound effects, good thing it's not just slash, because the splatting sounds visualize what's happening. Like splat, splatter, crunch. That's a crazy sound effect to put when you're like killing somebody. A crunch sound effect. Like if Tower of God was more R-rated, we would have it wouldn't be this. It would be like the crunching would have been like him like stomping on her corpse or something. Squawk. There's a squawk. My god, he's covered in blood. Like his hair is covered in blood and everything is covered in blood. I did not expect it to happen this fast. I did not expect it to happen this chapter. I was like, I got obviously to that conclusion around when he was there, like in the back, when they showed him in the back, when their conversation ended and all that stuff. I'm like, this did happen now, but like, there's another squawk. Wow. This is like the same effect that you saw when Enkidu possessed Goro. Like his eyes went all veiny and then he got taken over. Wow. When he finally came to his senses and opened his eyes, oh my goodness. More squawking. Enkidu's panting, oh my goodness. He mutilated her. That's insane. Like, it's not as, I wouldn't say it's as gruesome as, like, if it was more detailed, it'd probably be more gruesome than, but like, the one I'm thinking about is, what's his name? God, I'm sorry, I'm blanking. It's just that I'm shocked right now. The commander, division commander from Yasuda's army, Kendrick Deal. Kendrick? No, it was his name? Kendrick? Yeah. Kendrick Deal. Yeah, his that scene where he got chomped and you just saw like his headless corpse. I don't know if this is as bad as that, but at the same point, like, he didn't get his body like mutilated, like his corpse mutilated. Like, he probably killed her. He may have killed her in like a couple slashes, but like he kept going. Holy shit. He saw Amizu lying there. Her body had been brutally mutilated by his blade. The only sound in his ears, oh, it was the crane. I forgot about the crane. Oh no. Reverse animal cruelty. This is emotional animal cruelty. No. Oh no, I don't even know your name, bro. I'm so sad. This makes it way sadder. Oh no. Oh well. Okay, so it's back. Oh, sorry. I don't know if that lagged on stream, but I just got a message saying that OBS like disconnected and reconnected. So I don't know. I'm just gonna wait a little bit to see. Yeah, yeah. I just saw like where it skipped. Oh god. No, but yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, it just it was probably my internet just disconnected for a second. Yeah, the only sounds was the crane's sad, bitter song of mourning. Squawk. That's a squawking sound. The heart-wrenching melody brought him back to reality. Wow, his hand is bloodied, man. They really worked. Man, these panels worked for that, what's it called? For that, this panel specifically worked for that rating. Not that rating, that warning, that violence warning. Damn. His blade falls to the ground. A moment later, his whole body was overcome with a terrible chill. Enkidu has lost control. What have I done? You can see his breath. Wow, that's a great detail. You can see his breath. He's so out of breath from killing her. She doesn't even have shoes anymore. He killed her so hard that her shoes left her heels left her body. Holy shit. Dude, that's crazy. And trauma is just in the background. What? He couldn't hold back. That face from Trauma. Just like you know, it took me a while to scroll down, but like, you know, these people are the Tower God world. These people are fast. You from Trauma's perspective, it could have been like he was right next to Enkidu, not Enkidu. She was right, yeah, she was right next to Enkidu as well when he like just decided to cut her into pieces. Like, if Trauma couldn't react in time, either maybe he was just so shocked that he couldn't react, or like, you know, maybe he was just too fast to do it, or like the swiftness that he killed her, that mutilated her, is even more insane to think about. The fury within him. He couldn't hold back the fury within him. That's where it ends. So, I want... I'm holding back. Why did I make this channel? Why did I make this channel? I really want to go fast pass right now. I really want to fast pass right now and just keep going. Why? Oh, God. Yo, Trauma is gonna destroy Enkidu. Like, he's shocked right now. Like, when he comes back, he's going to kill Enkidu. Like, I know now why Enkidu looks the way he does in current day. After what he did in front of Trauma. Like, I mean, I'm more surprised that he's not fully dead. I'm more surprised that Enkidu's just not gone from this forever, right? and he was like sealed in the sprout. I'm more surprised about that. But like this, he messes. He's going to mess Enkidu up next chapter. I have a very strong feeling about that. Damn. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna keep it in this panel for a bit, because that panel's good to leave it off on. Rip Amizu. Okay, yeah. Also, I don't know why my phone, I can't see like the messages don't pop anymore, but like on my OBS it did, so I just came back. Rip Amizu. Shake my head. The crane didn't even try to help. The crane was not good. The crane, you Haku, you advocate for animal cruelty on this in the story. You you're like, every single time an animal gets destroyed in the story, you're like, oh no, not more animal cruelty. That crane would have got destroyed in that chapter from Enkidu, like so fast. Damn. No, but that's crazy. The crane didn't even try to help. That's, yeah. Yeah, it was just a moment of lag. Yeah, it didn't. I thought you guys didn't hear what I said, but you guys did hear what I said. I thought all who climbed had immortal. So did she really die? No. Everyone who climbed did not get immortality. It was just the family heads, by the way. People who climbed, it's weirdly worded. The rankers, when they reach the top of the tower, gain a immortality contract. There's like several different immortality contracts in the Tower God world. The one that rankers get is like an eternal life contract. SAU has stated that it's more of like you stop aging, or like you age very, very, very slow. Like Grobanon still probably ages. He probably didn't look like that when he became a ranker. Who knows? He maybe did. But their pace, and it obviously depends how you manipulate the Shinsu around you. But what, like if you're really good at manipulating Shinsu, you're probably going to be looking better like thousands of years into the future, like Jinsung or something like that, right? And even Jinsung, his facial expression, like his facial does change from like when we saw him with Caliban and current day, he does look different. Even him, right? But no, they have the eternal. They probably have the eternal life contract, which just means that you have a very extended period of your life way above the other people. The family heads don't. The family heads have actual immortality. Like they cannot be killed. From what we know, they can only be killed by an irregular, like Bomb or like Yurik or like somebody who breaks the law of the tower, like breaks contracts and stuff like that, like the irregulars can. So no, I don't even know if the family heads can kill each other. They probably can, if they tried really hard. But the rest of the companions, like Lustlike doesn't have an immortality contract, and Jihad has even like in the more advanced immortality contract. You can at least do damage to the family heads, but you won't kill them, right? So Adori, let's just use Adori for an example. Adori could probably beat, if she was in fact stronger than like Tramrai, she could beat the crap out of Tramrai, but she's not going to kill Tramrai. So basically that, right? And that kind of stuff, right? But Jihad has one of the most advanced immortality contract we've seen, so we've heard about so far, which is called the King contract, which is, it means that not only can he not be what's it called? He's also immortal just like everyone else, but he can be damaged by anyone who is part of the tower. Like, so the only people that can even damage him are irregulars. So like again, Bomb, like Yurik. So like Adori, even if she was stronger than Jihad, because she was born in the tower, she can't actually hurt Jihad. But Adori's not stronger than Jihad. That's just an example, right? If Adori was stronger than Jihad, she couldn't even damage Jihad because of that contract. Yeah, we're about to see him get turned into a head next week, I guess. What do you mean? I only Jihad and Tadaham. Yeah. Then Blood Matter got his sometime later. Yeah, Blood Matter is weird among the 10th grade families, and V didn't get the immortality contract. But that was probably more by choice or something. But Blood Matter, his immortality contract was weird. He couldn't get it. So what he does is like siphon the energy of his kids. And so his kids live less time than a lot of other people, but he gets that energy or like power or whatever, and then that's how he stays immortal for so long. Basically. And that's why the Hendo Locke family has the most kids out of any other family because of that contract of and stuff like that. Although it's funny that he has the most kids and we've only seen one Hendo Locke in the entire story. It's funny how that works. Though I guess now that we know Enkidu got a kind of contract. 2, I wonder how often immortality contract get handed out. That's true. I think Enkidu got that contract mostly because of his connection to Traumarai and being like, hey Traumarai, hey administrators, help me out, do that kind of stuff. So they couldn't give him the same type of contract. But they gave him a pretty similar contract where again he can't be killed by anyone. I guess it is I guess it is kind of like the same contract. Now that I say it out loud, he can't be killed by any of the. He can only be killed by regulars. So yeah, I guess it is the same type of contract now that I think about it. But whatever. Another thought is Aminu an irregular or irregular? No. She's not an irregular. She's just what's it called? She's just a somebody born, a tower born person, just like Luslik. From what we know, it's not an irregular. The only irregulars that we know of so far is Jihad and the 12 irregular members. Yeah, Haku's been giving all my points that I've been saying, but yeah, I didn't see the messages before and until now. At least from what we know, yeah. You were talking about Enkidu getting turned into precedent for which him getting. Oh yeah, got it. I thought you were talking about family head. I'm like, I'm pretty sure Trauma is already a family head. No, yeah. Enkidu's gonna become a blob of jello and just the head. Next chapter, most likely. Yeah, basically. Oh goodness, this was a shorter chapter. I don't know how long I've been streaming, but I talked a lot. No, it's yeah. I guess that it wasn't probably 2 hours long, but it's getting close to it. That's mostly because of how much I talked throughout the chapter. Every single line and dialogue and like panel, basically, I talked through it. But yeah. Let me go to get out the reaction box. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, other than that, I don't wow, I kind of spilled all my thoughts about this chapter in the reaction. Can't really say much afterwards. If I were to say anything, my predictions, I'm going to say my predictions for what's going to happen next. I don't know how many chapters of left this flashback we have. At most, I would say maybe 2 more flashback chapters. Good chapter. Rip M's a great character. She's a great character. I loved basically every scene that she was involved in. The dialogue and the scenes and all that stuff. I would say most likely we have 2 more chapters, depending on how long the next chapter is, to be honest. He could wrap it up in 1 chapter, I think. But we could probably get 2 more chapters of this flashback. I don't think it's going to go longer than that. if it does, then I'm all here for it, but I don't think it will. And Enkidu's gonna get wrecked next chapter. There's no doubt in my mind that's not gonna happen. I'm more. We know what Traumarein's reaction is gonna be, but I actually do want to see what the other family heads' reactions are gonna be also. Like, I'm more. I'm curious about two things. I'm curious, how did Enkidu survive? How did Traumarein not kill him, or any of the other family heads just kill him for what he did? Second, why did, like, what's it called? Yeah, but like, yeah. So what did the other family heads think of this whole incident and that kind of stuff? But God, it's just I'm really thinking about it. I don't know. I do feel like the flashback is probably almost over. I have so much more I want to know, but sadly, I feel like it'll end before we know everything. Yeah, this chapter, this flashback was to give us the Enkidu context and the Amizu and all the other Traumarein context. It's even called Traumarei's past. I'm interested to see how Gus then connects to it at the end of it, actually, because I think he will be connected to it in the end, because it is his book. So he has to be involved some way, shape, or form. Well, it seems like Leviathan. Also, if the context behind this flashback is Gusting's book, Where the Memory of That Day. That's interesting. But, yeah. I think that's the thing I was talking about. Leviathan, he's going to get it's going to be like a bomb situation where he knows way more than us currently in the story, like you said, Haku. And I think when he gets the book, he's going to read everything, all his forgotten memories, and Gusting will have all his memories back. But we are not going to see all his memories. We might get them through multiple series of flashbacks, which I really hope that day it gets turned into like a multi-chapter flashback thing like this, because that needs to be a thing, I think. Or else I think that's going to be like the biggest fumble if SIU doesn't do that. I do feel well, it seems like Leviathan, he holds a memory, and that's why they are locked away. It's basically confirmed at this point. Leviathan locks away the memories. But no, that's just the thing. It's just that I think this chapter is great. It was short, but I think it covered a good conversation. This chapter is basically what if the conversation with Jidong and Amizu was just one chapter. That was just like one whole chapter of that, and also the Enkidu stuff in the end. But it was basically that. What if last chapter, the only scene that we cut to and we saw was the conversation between Amizu and Jidong, but with Traumarein instead. So yeah, basically that. So I liked it a lot. So yeah, I think that Gusting is just gonna know all his memories, like all the memories, but we're not gonna know about them. But he's gonna act differently and make up his mind of what, like, if he wants to kill Traumarei or not. That's what he said before he got the book. He's like, I'm ignorant right now, but once I know my memories, I'll decide what I fully want to do. So yeah, basically that. I don't know much about, I don't know what else to really say. I really like the dialogue. I really thought it was good again this week. It cleared up some issues I had after reading the last chapter. And overall, it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, that's basically it. Don't have really much to say about other than that, I guess. Unless you guys want to ask some questions so we can keep talking about it. Some stuff. Although this chapter, like I said, Haku, I am left with a lot more questions than answers because of the whole that day thing and that other stuff. still think it's good because it was. I know those things are going to be actual plot points in the story. It's not like these things are just wasted lines that are not ever going to be revealed. I just know that they're not going to be revealed right now. And if we got like the biggest lore drops in this chapter, then it would kind of take away from the actual conversation, I think, between Amizu and Tramrai, in my opinion. If we got like, because then it would just be all focused on that reveal, on like the reveals that we get, and then the actual conversation will be secondary to all that, I feel like. So I don't know. I think those reveals will be saved better for when those reveals are the main focus of the scenes. Um, because I obviously those reveals will be revealed in the story. I just don't know when. But yeah, good theories, good talking, and yeah, I'm probably gonna head out. Um, I love the discussion that we had about like what Trauma and Jihad was doing. I really like the theory that I thought about at the end about like the key thing. Like, what if the key hasn't been split up yet, and that's what Jihad and Trauma want to do, and that leads into them creating something like the red light district and stuff like that. So I think that would be a really cool thing to learn, like about the actual key of the 35th floor, 135th floor. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, other than that, that's basically it. Wish you guys a good day, and yeah, hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys again next week for the next Tarot card reaction.